Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised on DNA. Laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live. 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside. Why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stack cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of Don's lies as Arjun act like he's surprised.
Whoa, you added some stuff to that. I heard those was like, I don't even know what instrument that is. What was that you just added, man?
A little subtle. It was
a little subtle. I didn't. I listened to the beginning part and I think I skipped. I just didn't notice it when I was listening to it at work, man. That's a good touch. It's a nice little. It's the next episode. The next episode.
It is the next episode. So for our longtime listeners, they will know we have been working with this intro that Don and I made a couple of months back.
Yeah,
and it's been a big hit. It's been America Top 40.
I think so.
Kiss FM
Yeah.
Top 5,
Oh,
Power
yeah.
106 Top 5.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we thought we could make it a little bit more professional, especially with the way that Don turns down the volume at the end of the verse. And we talked about different ways to implement it, and we finally thought, hey, why not just mix in the fade? And that's what I did. So you guys probably noticed the audio slowly fading out from the music, and then Don speaks all over it as he usually does. On top of that, I did a couple of things which Don pointed to, but not all of them. One thing I did, I added some of the these bells. It's like a very low octave bell.
Yeah.
For like the last part of the verse.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you probably didn't notice it because it's so subtle, but it added a bit more reverb to the snare. So there's a bit more roominess to it when you hear it. I think I might have cleaned up one of my last parts a little bit, but you can't even tell. It's just one. There was a double P before. There was like a pa.
So
for whatever reason.
You
And so
worked
I just
on you worked on your stuff and didn't mind to touch mine.
Well,
I'm a little hurt, man.
I know better than to touch perfection. You know what I mean? When I hear perfection, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need to touch it at all. Just leave it as is.
You have a way with words. You have a way with words. I'm gonna let that one go.
I know you will, because that was a great compliment. But I will also say, I was thoroughly, and I'm not just yanking your chain here.
I usually are.
No, I well, sometimes, half the time, but not today. I was thoroughly impressed by your production, by your output, like your vocals, your lyrics, everything you put together. It just sounded really good, and you had that swag to it. There was like a intentional.
Yeah, man. I call it chubby cheeks. Chubby cheeks. Intentional? Not so much. Not so much. It's the chubby cheeks, man.
I
chubby
like
cheeks.
it.
Maybe a fat tongue. Mix that all in there. I got a uvula that's a little, hanging off to the side. Maybe it cuts the air a little bit differently,
Is the uvula the one that dangles in the back of
your
throat?
Yeah.
that thing. Oh my gosh. Well, it's good to know what you have. It's good to know what you're working with.
You know what? You got it.
You clearly do. You clearly do. And I think it may be interesting for the audience to know what you're holding in your arms at the moment, what you're cradling.
So right now,
you can share.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So apologize in advance. This is going to come a little bit later than usual. We're starting off today at 10 p.m. PST time. I had some stuff on my evening agenda after work. And actually, I guess, I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I actually started a new job working with the government now. So my hours are much, much longer. So I'm working into to Arjun's afternoon, to my evening.
He's not kidding.
And then my wife and I went ahead and we were talking to some breeders, and the first addition to our home is a puppy. So today we picked up Yuzu. That's what my wife named him. The Shiba Inu. Nice little golden one. Or red one. I don't know how deep his coat's gonna get, but he's looking fairly golden right now. Looking nice.
Nice. And so the Shiba Inu, did you guys have your heart set on this one for a long time, on this particular breed?
Yeah. So my wife really likes the Shiba Inu, and as a breed, they're there's a lot of stereotypes of them. Mostly, you'll hear that they're kind of like assholes in the sense,
Oh no.
that like,
Yeah.
when you usually have a dog, you have a dog that's super nice, super friendly, wants to be pet all the time, wants to be hugged and cuddled all the time.
Sure.
As a Shiba ages, they tend to be similar to like the cats of the world, where they're kind of independent. They do their own thing. They're
Uh-huh.
not rolling around in the mud and doing all that. They're kind of a highly intelligent dog that is able to, do its own thing. And they look bomb as hell. So that's always a win.
And that they do. I was elated while at work to see a brief video that Don had sent through Messenger of a Shiba Inu, and I didn't know at the time if it was a new addition to the Ball and I family, but it was,
Oh yeah.
and beautiful,
Oh
beautiful
yeah, man.
doggy for sure.
Yeah, I
And
sent it over. That's when we were with the breeder and just trying to figure out, like, hey, is this the one? Is he cool? What's nice is this puppy is really observant and really, how do I say, like, he's an explorer. At the new house when we were at Brea, right after we picked him up and had to drop off some stuff, he was just exploring the whole thing, kind of walking around, doing his own thing. Found his little spot and kept walking around there. And then when we brought him home to where we're at right now, he did the same exact thing.
wow,
And what's odd
wow,
is he hasn't been crying.
that's odd. I thought that's a good sign, right?
It's a great sign, but I expected, like a puppy being ripped away from his siblings,
Oh, that's
and
true.
mom. You kind of expect like a little whimpering here and there. I'm expecting it later tonight, maybe.
Well, maybe the puppy already sees you two as his new parents.
I hope so. I mean, that's great because for me, he's following me around. He's not following Kelly around too much. Not
Not
following Kelly
yet.
around.
It's the
No,
first day. It's the first day.
well, I got that touch. I got the magic touch.
Oh, there you go.
There it
There
is.
you go.
So
I think it's wonderful. One day, probably later this year, I'll definitely go by and check out Yuzu and see how the whole family's doing over
definitely.
there in the new humble abode. So congratulations again on everything.
Thanks, man. Hey, when are you
You're
gonna, or what's the plan for the A here? What's the future outlook for you, man? When it comes to, I guess the next stage of adulting, because you're doing a fine, damn good job at your current site of employment, I will say. You
well.
got
It,
what?
it is interesting you mentioned that because I'll probably share something about this employment offline. Uh,
Ooh,
so
okay. CEO now. Got it.
well,
Got it.
maybe not quite CEO, maybe
Okay,
not quite
okay.
CEO, but
CFO, CTO.
well,
There we go.
we may be missing some C's and T's and F's and O's, but
Uh,
it's something. It's an interesting update. But I
okay.
kind of wanted to make sure you had your thunder with
Oh,
this government job
oh.
and
Yeah,
the home and everything. And I was planning on sharing something probably after the pod, and then
Yeah, sure.
everybody will know afterward. But yeah, no, planning for the future is always essential. Thinking about the next steps, it's always something we have to do, even though it's hard. Sometimes it could be hard to make certain decisions, but sometimes it's the right thing. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll keep it as vague and as ambiguous as possible as we.
CEO.
Well,
CEO.
let's not get too
CEO.
ahead of ourselves. But I will say one thing I have been following pretty much daily now is the NBA playoffs, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. But I just have to say, man, I feel sorry for Giannis. I just wanted to get that out
I
there
don't.
for the listeners.
I
Uh,
don't.
why not?
Because the team did better when he was off the court. Or it could have been.
That is
I mean,
a
it could have been one of those things where it's like, oh, our leader is gone, so we got to all step up or something like that. Sure. Well, actually, and then the next game they kind of. I mean, I do feel bad for him, but he had the right pieces around him to make it work.
I don't know. I don't know if he
What
did.
else did he need?
What else? What did he have?
He
What
had
did he have?
a all-star or star/slash all-star caliber player in Middleton.
Okay, stop right there. If that's the best example you can think
He
of what he
had
had,
a solid stretch center
oh god,
that had numbers similar to Kareem's when he played for Milwaukee.
I'm gonna have to defer to you on that one. I don't
Or
even
not
know.
Kareem, sorry, Wilt. I think it was Wilt. I forget. I don't know. Wilt. I'll say with Wilt.
Uh,
He had Bledsoe, who he had Hill, who's a little washed up, but still a solid guard.
tell me this. I'll put it to you simply. On paper, do the Milwaukee Bucks, if you take away Giannis, seem like a better team than the Lakers if you take away LeBron?
Yeah,
Do they really?
because I'm thinking depth here, and that's why I hesitated because the only bench players I could think of in the Bucks are Corver, that white dude that has like a wannabe like small fro going on. Um, I don't even know who else they have. Do you know?
Um, that's a great question. Yeah, I think they have the guy who got
Oh, they have Robin. All right.
they have Robin Lopez, but they also have that one guy. I want to say his name's Sterling Brown, but I could be wrong about
Sure.
that.
Okay.
It's the guy who was arrested a couple years ago and treated unfairly by the police
Okay.
in Milwaukee. He was kind of a rookie or a second year player at the time, young guy. There's also like DJ White. I think that's the name of a player that's on the Bucks.
Sure.
Um, I Wes Matthews, is Wes Matthews on the Bucks? He might be. Uh, Marvin Williams, he might be on there too.
Okay.
And the only reason, ladies and gentlemen, I know all these names is because I watched a Bucks game recently. I watched their, uh, I think their penultimate game, the game where Giannis got injured, because I just wanted to see Giannis play one time. I didn't get to catch
Sure.
Giannis for a full game all season long, and I thought this would be my last opportunity. So
Did you
little
see
did I
his
know,
injury, by the way? Do you think
I
it's a
did.
serious injury?
No, I don't think it's that
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
I think it is serious enough to warrant him not playing in the next game,
Yeah.
which
It
is
was
exactly what
probably
happened.
inflamed and slightly swollen, and the rotation probably wasn't there that he's used to. So the explosivity of his uh, athleticism was probably diminished, if at all there.
Yeah, the
But
the mobility was certainly hindered, and it's one of those things where, yeah, you probably could play on it, and as a player, you probably do want to play, especially because it's the playoffs.
mm-hmm.
But I think Stephen A. Smith, he mentioned a story about Grant Hill. He had some kind of a minor injury, decided to keep playing, and he aggravated it to a point where it became a serious injury,
mm,
and he was never quite the same after that.
mm,
So, for every kind of story where Kobe Bryant breaks a finger and continues playing, there's also many stories where a player pushes through the pain and ends up with long-term deteriorating, debilitating effects.
sure.
So, for Giannis's longevity, I think this was the right decision because it would be something different if the series was 3-3, right?
Yeah.
If it was like a
But
closer series. Oh, go ahead.
shouldn't it
Go ahead.
also be different because he's a free agent?
Um, is he really a free agent
I
though?
I
I
would
mean,
double check right now. I just have a damn
yeah.
puppy in my arm, so I
Oh,
can't
I'm
really
I'm
do
I'm,
anything.
I'm checking it right now. I'm checking it right now. Our good old fashioned spot rack. I probably shared this website with you before.
Yeah, it's your
So
favorite.
it's my favorite, spotrack.com. If you guys go there, you can easily look up salary information, financial cap info, all these different things. So, yeah, this is what I read. Giannis signed a 4-year, $100 million deal back in 2017, and he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2021. So it's not this
Okay,
summer,
but
but the
they may be
fall.
using him as trade bait.
I don't think you do that with Giannis.
They did
You
it with
know,
Anthony Davis.
I don't think that was trade bait though, because AD wanted out.
And you don't think Giannis wants out? That's the talk of
Honestly,
the town, I think, or that's like the rumor, isn't it? Where it's like you could kind of see Giannis's game, kind of where he wasn't into it as much as he normally is. Maybe a
yeah.
sign.
Well, I guess I haven't looked into his demeanor
Sure.
on the court and his lethargy or lack of energy, but I think just from hearing his interviews from time to time, hearing how he talks about his team, about his own performance, I don't think he views this team as just a team. He views
Yeah.
it like his family.
Yeah.
And
But every superstar
Milwaukee,
says that
well,
when they're happy or when things are going as they see fit. But once things go south, that's when they usually start speaking out.
most of them do. But I also look at it from Giannis's perspective. He is not a typical superstar.
Yeah, he's
He
no Caruso. He's no Bol Bol. He's
right.
no
He
LaMelo Ball.
he is neither of those gentlemen, for good reasons, obviously. But but I'll say I like to believe Giannis is a very humble, down to earth person. Yes, he makes tremendous money, and yes, he's very very good at what he does.
Yeah.
But I like to view him as a character that's a homer, right? He got drafted by a team that took a chance on him. He became the best version of himself thanks to Jason Kidd and thanks to Coach Bud and thanks to the organization. They believed in him. And the organization knows that it's very difficult for Milwaukee to attract free agents. They know it's difficult for Milwaukee to trade for people that want to stay. But if they have a Giannis, that is a huge attraction point. That is how they get more free agents to come.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe Giannis will stay in Milwaukee for most of his career, maybe even for all of it. And I hope for his sake, he gets a chance to play with a real superstar. And you may perceive this as a knock against Chris Middleton, and
No,
it
no,
kind of
no.
is.
I
It
agree.
kind of
I
is,
agree. A
you
true
know.
superstar. A
Yeah,
true what is it? 1-2 punch. Yeah, no, I'm with it. There's been talks going around where Chris Paul might be that guy, or some trade with Golden State where he may not be in Milwaukee. This being Giannis, or this guy being Giannis, he may be somewhere else, but he would be able to develop that two-headed dragon for some sort of team. It may work out. We'll see.
I I look back at Kevin Durant and I recall one thing. He was
Snake.
arguably one of the most he was arguably one of the most dominant scorers our game has ever seen.
Sure.
On OKC, he averaged damn near 30 a night,
Yeah.
and he was playing next to high usage Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
Yep.
When he went to Golden State, the one change, the one improvement in his game that I recognized was his defense. And you may be wondering, well, how does that make sense? That one of the most gifted offensive talents, how does he get better at defense by going to a new team? It's because he doesn't have to do as much.
Yeah.
The
The energy
offensive burden,
expenditure. Yeah.
exactly. He can preserve his energy, conserve it more for the defensive side of the ball, which
Hmm.
helps the team win overall.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, Don, when I first started following Giannis years ago, I saw him as more of a defensive minded player. And even though to this day, yes, he is defensive player of the year, it doesn't mean that much to me because I view him more as a superstar, 30 point a game type of
Yeah.
player.
He's
Uh,
like a
you
leader
know,
beyond just. He's not a Rudy Gobert.
he's not
He's
Rudy Gobert.
yeah.
He's certainly not Rudy Gobert. But I guess what I'm looking for is I would like Giannis to become a better lockdown mono e mono defender. Like the way we think of a Paul George, the way we think of a uh, Kawhi Leonard, even a Jimmy Butler at times. All those three guys, when they get assigned to like a LeBron or even a Giannis,
Hmm.
they play them very, very hard for all 48 minutes. Giannis doesn't really do that. Giannis plays within that team defensive structure set aside by Coach Bud, and he plays help defense. He comes for a block from out of nowhere. But I just want to see Giannis focus more on defense, maybe less on playmaking. I feel like as excited as I was when Jason Kidd put the ball in Giannis's hands and made him point Giannis, I didn't realize this at the time, but now I realize more. That made him change his philosophy, change his mentality about the game, because he knew now he could affect the game in more ways. He didn't just have to focus on doing the little things and being super athletic and playing defense. No, now he can dribble the ball up and down the court, post up, dish the rock. But I feel honestly for Giannis, that's too much responsibility for the team to be successful. For him
Well,
to get
yeah,
his numbers,
yeah,
he can do it all. Don't get me wrong; he's capable of all that.
yeah.
His team can be a good regular season team, but for him to take the next step, I think he has to play with somebody who can really take over for him,
Got it, got
kind of
it.
like how LeBron takes over for AD.
Yeah, yeah. You need someone, and you also want Giannis to develop that similar trait that LeBron has, where it's like you haven't seen playoff LeBron yet. He takes it to that fucking like 12th gear that only the highest echelon of NBA players can achieve. I I question if Giannis has that because it seems like he's on that gear all the time, and I think I'm harking on what you're saying, where it's because his role has changed so much over the years that it takes away that opportunity because he's expected to do that every single night, regardless of preseason or postseason or regular season at that. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, and I know both of us we enjoy Giannis's game. I think we're both fans of his. Um, but as much as I would like to see him as a Laker,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd be happier for him if he found success on Milwaukee. I know it's kind of blasphemous to say because obviously we are all Laker fans and we're rooting for the Lakers to win a title every year. But I like seeing players stay with one team. Maybe I'm old fashioned in that way, but I look back at Kobe, staying with the Lakers. I look back at Dirk Nowitzki with the Mavericks, Tim Duncan with the Spurs, and to me, the game was more memorable when you have these, you know, titans of the industry firmly entrenched in their positions. Um, and it's iconic, right? Like the city is almost synonymous with the player. Like you think of LA, you think of Kobe. And I guess now you think of Milwaukee, you think of what cheese, the Brewers, and now Giannis. I'd like to see that continue, and hopefully, somewhere down the line, they do win something, or at least make it to the finals. Right? I mean, wouldn't you have loved to see? It's not going to happen anymore, but wouldn't you have loved to see Lakers versus Milwaukee in the finals? Wouldn't that be great?
Um, it would be. It definitely would be because I think if LeBron has anybody that has a similar play style to his today, it's going to be Giannis, right? Because Giannis, at least to me, was the next iteration of that LeBron James archetype in like a
Mm.
fucking longer, more athletic body somehow. Um, it would have been interesting. That's
It
all I
would
can
have
say.
been. It would have been.
But hey, I'm getting off on this Houston or Rockets Lakers matchup. It already seems like a Western Conference, uh, level of play. Western Conference Finals level of play. It is crazy how exciting each possession is. I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of the games, but I think it's a perfect play similar to before, where a small ball, the three ball, going to work against traditional basketball and good defense. It's scary, man. You got to watch it next time.
Yeah, I'll try to catch. When's the next game? I
Tomorrow.
think.
Tomorrow.
Oh, is it tomorrow? That's right.
Come on, man.
Uh, wait, but I
Turn your
heard
love.
I heard it's an earlier tip off though, right?
Is
Let's
it?
see.
Hold on. I gave the puppy
Lakers.
to Kelly, so I can look it up now.
You guys I'm looking too. I'm looking too. So game 4. Yeah, dude, I can't watch. It's tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Hmm.
So
Wait,
I
why?
I,
Why 4?
I don't know. I really don't know. Um, it looks like they mixed up the schedule a little bit. So Game 4 I'll miss. I'll have to catch the highlights probably.
Mm.
Game 5 though, on Saturday at 5 p.m. I might be able to catch at least part of that one.
Oh, I
So
know.
that'll be interesting.
It's because what do you call it? Miami already swept the Bucks, so they have to like place it right in the middle, so that way. You know what I'm saying?
to balance out the East
Yeah.
Coast and the West Coast.
No, to balance out the timing issue, right? Because Milwaukee usually gets the 3:30 slot or the 3 o'clock slot.
But like, how many games are on even that day?
Usually it's 2 per day. So, and that's why, because Milwaukee was playing with Miami in the semis, right? And they already
Right.
lost. It's kind of like, let's just shift up the game rather than putting the doubleheader. Let's just put it right in the middle of both. Please both worlds, sort of thing.
I think you're right. I think that does make sense. I've almost gotten used to having 3 or 4 games to follow for every day for the first round.
Oh
But
yeah,
now that the games are drying up, we're
yeah,
firmly entrenched in the second round,
yeah.
about to enter the conference finals. It feels like every game is more meaningful. Every game matters so much more.
Oh yeah.
And I agree with you from commentary I've heard from friends
Mhm.
about the past games with the Lakers and the Rockets. It has been a rather exciting, compelling series with 4 MVP caliber players at the same time.
I
Can you
know
believe that?
Caruso,
Former
LeBron,
MVP Westbrook,
AD.
AD, who's MVP caliber, never won one, but still up there, and LeBron, of course, multiple time MVP.
No,
I
not
mean,
yet. No.
he won more than once. No,
Who? Harden?
no. LeBron. I think he won multiple MVPs, right?
I'm pretty sure that he had to.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in the
I think in
Wikipedia.
his Miami years, he definitely got one at least.
Oh yeah, like that was
That was like
prime for sure.
peak LeBron right there. That's the. Oh my God, dude! If you saw the game yesterday,
Yeah.
typical playoff Braun blocks from behind are back. You know those ones that,
Mm.
like when he was not on the Lakers that you hated, where he'd run down someone
Oh
doing a
yeah,
layup and then just
like
backboard it off.
Iguodala. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had 2 of them yesterday.
Wow. Wow. He I saw the box score. I think he totaled for like
I think he had 4
4
blocks.
blocks.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, that's just
yeah,
filthy. That is
yeah.
filthy,
As a point guard or as a point forward.
man. I mean, you know what impresses me? This guy is like what, 35 years old, and obviously he has plenty of wear and tear on his body,
Yeah,
plenty of tread. Actually, no tread left on those tires, I should
yeah,
say.
yeah,
But yet, look at him. He can turn it up and really be a man amongst boys in the playoffs when he really needs to.
yeah,
And
man.
that's so encouraging to me. I feel like every time I see a highlight like that or I see a clip like that, I think, he can keep going for 2 years at this level, or maybe
Yeah,
even 3 more years
yeah.
at this
I,
level.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, we got him for another what, 2?
Do
Um,
we? I don't know
2
if
or
it's that
1?
long. I feel like it may be one of those like 3 year plus one deals.
Was it
So
3
he
plus 1
can.
or 4 plus 1?
Oh, I
All
doubt
right,
it's 4 plus 1, but I will
but I
check.
mean, either
Yeah,
way, it
yeah.
goes to show what a proper nutritional um, or I guess proper nutrition does, as well as a healthy physical training regimen can do. And that leads me to question you, man. Well, what's your typical training regimen and eating habit?
That was wild. I don't think I have like a training regiment per se.
Oh, you got the
I'm
walks, right?
I'm
You got the
trying.
walks.
So I used to do more walks. I haven't been as much lately, but I used to try to go for like a walk during the lunch break, about like 45 minutes to an hour, um, and then like some nights, not every night, and definitely not regularly, I would try to go for the weights, just like lift a little bit, and then occasionally I'd go shoot around because we have this half court basketball
I
area,
was gonna say, is it
which
like
is
the
kind of nearby
office?
the office. It's about a quarter mile away from the office. You have to walk a little bit.
No, no, no. I was saying like like in
Oh,
the show, The Office, like how they have it in the warehouse in the basement.
Oh, I do recall that. So for this, it's actually outdoors. It's really like a half court outdoor court.
Doesn't count.
But
Doesn't
I
count.
do
Too
remember that
nice.
episode. That was
It's too nice.
it's a nice new amenity that they built in that area.
Got it.
But yeah, I mean, I think for food wise, what I usually try to do, I try to eat a light lunch. Usually like could be like a
Oh,
Greek yogurt,
yeah. I gotta
could
ask.
be
Yeah, while we're on that, how
yeah.
are those yogurt? What were you? Are you still on Chobani?
No, no, I switched it up to Oikos again. I went back to Oikos for a
Is
while.
that Costco? Are they at Costco again?
They may be at Costco, but I actually just got a 4-pack from like Vaughn's.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay. Look at
yeah,
you
yeah.
scaling down, man.
So well,
You
because
don't like you don't like
here's a
filling up
problem.
like half a tray in your fridge of just yogurt? That's not
Well,
you.
here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, the fridge is shared with other people in the company, right? So
Got
it's
it.
like I don't want to stash that whole thing in there. And
You
number
got it.
two, I sometimes don't eat the yogurt if I have to go out for lunch. I'll
Sure.
just skip that, right? And so I end up having leftover yogurts for the next week,
Perfect.
and so it doesn't become as fresh, you know.
Oh,
And so I realized that what, I'd rather just spend a little bit more money
yeah.
buying it fresh
Got it.
and enjoying it that way, rather than buying like 20 and waiting like 3 months to finish
Bro,
it.
that's the best, man. Where it's like you get halfway through and you're like, fuck. Like I ate all the good flavored ones already too. All that's left is like ass and honey. You know? Fuck.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Okay.
They're quick, they're easy. But how about you? Like, what do you typically do for lunch? I know you said you bring some home cooking in.
Oh,
What's your
used to.
okay?
Not recently. All right, because of
Uh-huh.
or at least during COVID, I hardly ever went in, if at all. So that would
Okay,
of course be automatically home cooking.
sure.
But then since I started the new job, and at the same time going through the whole moving process,
Yeah.
I have not been cooking. Um,
Oh, okay.
but so there's this one place called Steelcraft. It's a
Mm.
collection of like food vendors. There's like craft brew or a craft brewery there, as well as some like coffee place called Dark Horse that does stuff. And they've turned those old shipping containers you see them on like train tracks, those giant 20 by
Oh yeah,
10.
yeah, for sure, for
They
sure.
turned those into like makeshift storefronts for these restaurants
Oh
or
wow.
vendors. So it's pretty cool. And then they have this huge open like kind of grassy area under a gondola or super large gondola. And it's really it's hip. It's nice. So I've been going there lately, whenever possible. I did bring
So
lunch once where it was just salad and salsa, man. I felt I was getting sick of just eating out, making me
yeah.
all tired. You get that 1 o'clock kind of haze.
Oh yeah, you
Um,
want to take a nap for
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
So tell me this though. At this place,
Steelcraft.
Steelcraft, what do you usually get? What do you like to get there?
So I haven't repeated anywhere. I wanted to at least give everybody a shot, right? So I'm gonna call them out right now. The first one I went to, of course, is called Barrio, which is a Filipino kind of inspired place, Filipino slash Korean sort of fusion. Their pickled veg is good, rice, whatever, and then they had a solid salad with bulgogi,
Ooh, I love that. Wow.
right? And
Yeah.
it's all one plate, really relatively nicely priced at like a solid 10, $12, depending on if you have any add-ons.
Mhm.
Um, good. Probably won't go again. Probably won't go again. That's just me being
Mm.
picky. They
You're
have.
the type of person that goes for something 4 times and then calls it quits, right?
Usually I'll give them a chance when later on in the line, later on, but not back to back.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha.
there's another place called Penalty Box, which is actually run by someone that's retired from hockey. They do
Huh.
burgers there and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
poutines, stuff like that. This is the
Ooh.
one that knocked me out. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one burger. Oh, they use like Wagyu beef, which is like kind of
Oh
like
wow.
top tier premium.
Sure. Sure.
Um, yeah, had that with a side of just plain poutine or fries, and that sucker knocked me out. It was just a plain cheeseburger, right? Because I was like, all right,
Yeah.
can't go too ham here. I was trying to prep my body for it.
Of
Yeah, no,
course.
could not do it. Even with a
Mhm.
single cheeseburger. with a small fry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 30 minutes after eating that was a mistake because I had to stay another like 5.5 hours trying to, work on my craft. I was not having it that day. It was not good, but it was good. It was delicious.
Mhm. I got you. So you typically, when you're busy, which is common for a lot of
Sure.
us, we tend to rely more on food services,
Yeah.
restaurants, fast food even. But when you do have a little bit more time, especially when you're working from home,
Yep.
you do the home cooking,
Yep.
which is fantastic. I think that's really the
I
best
think
way to
so.
go about it.
I think so.
Now, for Bunso in
Yeah.
particular, are any new events possibly in the horizon coming up?
Not right
Or
now. I know
not at
it's
the
kind of
moment.
disappointing. Not right
Oh,
now. Had some
okay.
opportunities for some events, but given all the stuff that's moving in my life, decided to just kind of lay back and not worry about it right now. Um, there's movement for a new spot in LA that should happen probably about next month or by the end of the year at the very latest. But given the restrictions of COVID, it's kind of difficult to do it because I'm trying to look for, maximize that dollar per hour that I normally make in my normal job doing this stuff,
Mm.
right? So given all the other things I have to do to set up the house and level up in life, I haven't been doing that.
Mm.
Yeah, man, dude. But I'm so excited. I bought what was that? I bought a Weber grill because I was like, fuck, I wanted to be all fancy. Get like a Traeger, or some sort of smoker, right? Because
Yeah.
not that on Netflix though, there's a new season of Chef's Table where they focus on barbecue.
Ah, my favorite show. I love
I'm
this.
just saying,
Yes.
you gotta get episode 1 of Chef's Table
Hey,
barbecue.
bro. My favorite episode for
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen is
yeah.
just know episode 6 with Sean Brock. He's
Ooh,
my guy. He is my
ooh.
guy. Right there.
He's good,
Right
man.
there.
He's good. What kind of food does he
Good.
do again?
Just all kinds. All kinds.
Wrong answer. Wrong
He has,
answer for sure.
yeah, well, I'm saying that he's been recently exploring some new cuisines, but
No,
he has the
no,
go-to.
no. Wrong again.
Oh man, yeah,
No.
it's on the queue. I just memorized episode 6, Sean Brock. That's just the words
I
I
was like, no,
memorized.
he's
But
been doing the same exact style of cooking all his life.
my bad, fam. It's on the queue though. It's on the
And it's
queue. But
strictly Southern.
there you go, strictly Southern. Not all parts of the world, just Southern America. But yes, go ahead. You were saying about Chef's Tables coming back for new season.
Yeah. No, so it's a new season focused on barbecue. So I've been getting really excited about it, getting motivated about it. But I decided, instead of getting a full-on smoker or like a rotisserie where I could spin a hog on it, I just went with the traditional Weber grill. Like those domes on the three
Oh yeah,
posts.
for sure,
I
for
decided to
sure.
get one of those instead. Just try to master the basics of that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I bought something. I wanted to buy some La Crusette. I don't know if you heard of the brand, but they're really fancy enamel brushed cast iron Dutch ovens, and they could run about 3, 4, 500 a pop. But I decided to go with a different brand, a startup here in California called Milo, where you get a whole
Mm.
set for that price point, rather than just one, piece of equipment.
Mm.
So I'm exploring. I'm getting really excited about it, man. I actually dropped it off this morning at the new house and saw that it came. Super stoked. It's probably going to be one of the kind of like household items that I plan on passing on to the future.
Wow. So I like that you're trying to become a grill master. Have you had a whole lot of experience grilling different meats, whether it's some ribeye,
Oh yeah,
some pork, some
yeah, yeah,
chicken? Have you tried everything?
yeah. A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. Beef, pork, chicken. Did duck once. Have not done any gamey things like lamb. Just because I don't know of any trustworthy suppliers around me that would supply that. Um,
Mm.
and I've even like smoked bacon, made my own bacon, right? Done ribs, lots of ribs. Did it the whole way where you wrap it in foil and it gets even more tender and it takes pretty much the whole day, sort of thing. Yeah, man. I wouldn't say I'm a master, but I know my way around. I know my way around.
Wow. I mean, I frankly don't have a whole lot of experience with grilling. I've never had like a grill to work with in that capacity, but
Yeah, man.
that
Well,
that's going to be interesting to
you're gonna
live vicariously through you,
you're
to
gonna
see
come you're gonna
you
come over, man. I'll pre-grind the meat for you. You'll make a burger. You'll make a burger.
pre-grind the meat.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
no,
you,
and that's another thing, dude. That's another thing I got. I got a stand mixer with a meat grind attachment. I'm gonna start grinding my own meat and making my own burger patties, my own blends and stuff like that.
is it worth the effort though?
It's it depends. To me, it is
Mhm.
because it's a hobby that you could share with others. Is it, you know, if you do my ratio of, money spent and time spent for final product, probably not. But the intangible gift that you receive by giving pays dividends.
Mm.
So it's one of those, and it's kind of like one of those. I could, point your nose in the air, like, yeah, I ground that. That's my own specific ratio that no one else has. It's my blend of spices that I've incorporated in there that makes it, the Don burger, the D burger, the DNA burger.
Oh, we'll start with the D burger,
There
and
we
then
go.
we'll
There we
see
go.
DNA later
There
on.
we go. Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting. I like that though. I like that. I look forward to seeing maybe new concoctions, new creations even on the Bunso menu, taking advantage of your new grill. You know, figuring out the best kind of methods to smoke, to grill, to do whatever mesquite magic
Uh,
that you like to do. What is mesquite, by the way? I always wondered. What
Mesquite's
does
just a
mesquite
it's a
mean?
type
Yeah.
of charcoal. It's usually like wood, traditional wood. It's not like the briquettes that you would get from like Kingston or something like that.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm. Okay, so it's like a kind of like a flavored charcoal in a way, like a little bit of
Yeah,
a
like I would say it's one of the oldest traditional forms of charcoal.
ah, wow,
Hmm.
wow.
It does get
There's
smoky. That's what makes it cheap relative to like other things.
mm,
Um, but
mm.
it's becoming more mass produced than anything else.
Wow, that is fantastic. I feel like whenever it comes to the food world, I always learn new things from you, whether it's about cooking, grilling, being a grill master, or even a master chef. And, sometimes it takes a little bit of nudging to finally watch that episode of Chef's Table. But
One of these days you're gonna come to the house. I'm gonna sit your ass down and be like,
I'm going to be
we're
forced to
fucking
watch.
watching this shit."
And I'll be like, Don, can't we just play 2K? I got work the next day. I got to
Or
get
we'll place a
going.
bet. We'll place a bet. It'll be like, hey, if I beat you here, you're staying another hour and watching that episode.
Oh my god, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. But I like that you guys are finally moving some things in, buying some new things. The grill,
Yeah, man.
furniture, I imagine, is on the way. I know you're still looking at that very expensive table, that super slab
Yeah,
of
yeah.
wood.
That's gonna have to wait. That's gonna have to wait, man. I was
I
looking.
know.
I actually bought some tools this morning. It, it is no joke starting a house from not even scratch, like just filling all the space of it, whether it be furniture, everyday tools, like buying a ladder. I didn't think I would ever have to buy a ladder in my life. Well, when you fucking own a home, you better have a ladder if you're a man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure, for sure.
that a damn fruit picker. I had to buy one of those because there's some fucking trees up there that I couldn't reach the tangerines for.
A fruit
Um,
picker?
yeah,
Is
bro.
that, is that like a what is it, like a
Like the
pooper scooper but vertical? Like you
yeah,
just move it up?
it's like a claw. It's basically a
It's a
claw.
claw. Okay.
Yeah. What else? What else? Toolkit. Candles. Yeah, that's kind of like one up there. Rugs. Oh my god, rugs. All the shit in the bathroom, right? You got to have a plunger, at least one. Um, and like little soap dispensers and shit like that. Oh my god, this thing adds up, man. Like when it's your turn, have a nice little war chest to be ready.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, where did you go to get your tools? Did you go to Harbor Freight?
No, Home Depot. It's the nearest one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have a very low key tool collection because I don't
Oh,
do a whole lot of house repairs or housework because
sure.
I've lived in an apartment for most of my life. But I found that It's always good to have like what's the right word? Like a magnetic screwdriver set.
Yeah,
So you can have like all the different heads
yeah,
available, just kind of swap it in and out
yeah,
because you never know.
yeah,
Everything has a different fixture. Everything
yeah,
has a different screwdriver.
yeah, yeah. And that's why I got one of those hand drill sets just to make
Oh,
sure that
good.
you have all the bits necessary for all the damn measurements that people make. So yeah, man. Just saying, those things add up. Those things add up.
I got you. And speaking of adding up, I think it would be good time to get into lesson number 5.
Ooh,
What did you
perfect,
say for Art of War?
perfect.
So let me go ahead and find out where this is, as my voice probably goes a little bit lower than usual. Ah, book. The Ultimate Art of War. And of course, how do I pronounce the man's name? It is none other than Antoinita Cummins. Antoinita
Antonita.
Cummins. So Antonita Cummins, he
Oh, by the way, this is
says,
all you. I cannot find my copy. It might be in the fucking other house.
oh, well, that's all right. And you know what? I will do the reading as we speak. Okay, let me open up to the right page. So last time, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about lesson number 4, heaven. And of course, we had the misconception that heaven actually meant the divine heaven. But no, it actually meant weather. It talked about forecasting the weather, understanding the effect weather has on terrain and troops. So now we move on to lesson 5, which is Earth. And we had some good guesses for what Earth meant, but let me tell you, what does Earth really mean? This is the third of the 5 constant factors. Earth, in the art of war, means geography and topography. Without detailed information on the battleground, the surrounding area, and potential escape routes, a functioning plan cannot be put together. A military commander must know the different types of terrain and how they will affect both the Allied and the enemy forces. Details for this are found in chapters 10 and 11. Interesting. We are probably a few months away from chapters 10 and 11, just FYI. Earth means to have an understanding and knowledge of the following: the highest mountains and the lowest valleys, distances, both short and long, the ground. Is it difficult or easy to pass through? Is it open and free or tight and confined? Earth has the following implications: forces may have to climb steep mountains, forces may be vulnerable in valleys. If far away, the forces are safe. If the enemy is close, there is danger. Difficult ground will stop vehicles, mounted troops, and equipment. Tight places increase the risk of ambush and restrict the passage of troops. Forces that find themselves on ground where they cannot move or escape are destined for death or defeat. And finally, a war tip for all of you belligerent boys and girls: obtain a detailed map of enemy territory and be realistic about how easily troops will be able to maneuver. So this was very interesting. So I think we probably guessed a lot of this already. We understood that Earth meant the terrain,
The
right? Just
land. Yep.
understanding the strategical advantages. Gosh, how did I pronounce that
Advantageous.
word? Advantages. Jesus Christ, that's going in the podcast.
Make sure to
So
component it, man. Make sure to component it.
I will component it. I will. Jesus Christ, I will. So
I have to
the
call it out. Hold on.
advantages.
Let's dwell on this for a little bit, man.
Oh, there's more. There's more. We want to go.
This is just
Advantageous. Advantageous. You
it's
know what it was? I'll tell you. I'll tell you the thinking. I'll tell you the thinking. What happens? It was a combination of me thinking of
yep,
advantageous, right?
yep.
Like something being
Oh, I
advantageous,
know, I
and
know,
me
I know
thinking,
you.
wait, how do you pronounce that word again? Is it advantageous? Advantageous?
And you were talking
Advantageous?
on the
And
live
so
and you couldn't really pause. I get it. I know.
I couldn't. I
I know.
couldn't. I couldn't hit
It
backspace on that one.
it wasn't written to a sixth grade level, so I get it, man. I get it. I'm just saying. No, I
That
don't mean that a diss you. I just mean the standard by which writers can write to make sure that 99% of the world can pronounce and understand what they're writing.
Well, see, this is doubly embarrassing because advantages weren't even in the book. I just said that off the dome.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's the most embarrassing part. I'm not reading anything. I'm just
okay.
trying to like sound these words out phonetically. That's
Okay,
my
okay.
problem.
You know what?
But
You do
but
you. You do you.
I will do me, and I'll just say I like this idea of really studying the territory. It's kind of like, and I hate to always use Civilization as an example,
Sure.
but in
Elephants.
that game, which we still need to finish, by the way. I think
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
like 100 moves left or something. It never ends.
Low estimate.
Maybe
Low
more.
estimate.
Low estimate. So one of the things that comes up is if you are trying to attack, let's say India, but you pretty much established the UK all the way down in the south, you have to travel quite a long distance just to get to
Quite a
India.
while. Quite a
Quite
while.
a while, quite a while. And it's not a good idea if you declare war on India with one troop while you're
Mm-hmm.
buffered, you're isolated away all the
Mm-hmm.
way over like
Mm-hmm.
in the south,
And your
whereas your
ally
buddy,
is,
yes,
yeah,
your
basically
ally
strategically planted right in between. Yeah, yeah.
is sandwiched between the two axis of evil, right? Like the two enemies right there. So it is important to know things like distance, whether you're working downhill, going uphill. If you're vulnerable in a valley, like this said, and I thought about that. That's so true. If you're in a valley, what that means is there could be ridges, there could be crests of land encircling the valley, looking down upon you, tracking your movements, and pretty much picking you off one by one.
Yeah.
So you really have to keep all this in mind when you're planning for war. And so I enjoyed this one. What did you think overall about the Earth?
Simple,
Simple. That's true. That's
simple,
true.
but that's the greatest thing about it. I mean, when you can simplify something to the bare bones of what you need, that's where true mastery comes. Um,
Mm.
and I think we may, I mean, if we were probably reading it or looking over it the first time, it probably seemed like common sense. But I think when you're able to build off of common sense and add that depth, you develop a broader common sense. Kind of weird to say, but broader understanding of the common sense where it becomes, something more than just common sense. It's ingrained in you more than common sense is just painted on you, sort of thing. I don't know
I
if that
feel
makes
you.
sense.
No, I did catch the gist of it. Um, I think it's really a matter of appreciating a lot of these simplistic, seemingly simplistic lessons at a deeper level, and expanding it to different facets of life. It's so easy just to read Art of War and not truly understand everything about it. And that's why I when I was looking for books on Amazon.com, my goal was to look for a book that would not just have the Art of War in there, but
Mm-hmm.
would really break things down to a level that's meant for sixth graders, as Don likes to say. Because when you do things at a sixth grade level, what he's really mentioning is it can be conveyed to all different audiences, all different backgrounds in a way that really makes sense. And I found that so far, Antoinita Cummins has done a beautiful job of describing all the different texts, all the different
Mm,
lessons from the
mm.
art of war into bite-sized samples. And yes, we're going slowly. I understand we're barely on lesson 4 or 5, and there's like another 200 lessons to go. And at some point, we may quicken the pace. But I do appreciate the slow burn. I think there's always a lot you can reflect on after reading a new lesson. So, shout out to Antoinita Cummins. Beautiful book, great cover. And I think with that, Don, we should probably come to a close, wouldn't you say?
I agree. I agree. So everyone, sorry for the late start. Sorry for the late upload. Thank you for listening. And as Arjun says, catch you on the flippity flip.
Peace out, guys.